Yes, greetings in the name of the church, Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God, His Majesty, blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I, Majesty. And greetings to everybody that's watching this, greetings to one and all, Majesty. And again, our topic for the day is going to be about Mengistu, understand? Because we have to understand that 2017 in Babylon New Year's, understand, is about to change. Although we're over here in the North America branch, understand, or anywhere in the world government right now, understand, it's a marker, understand, in history that something's going to change, 2018. So we have to look at the goals that we want to achieve in our life. And one of the goals is for Mengistu to be locked up. It has to be done. Not should, no, have to be, because we have to understand that when we look at the history of what this man has done to Ethiopia and his people and the government, the massacre, the bloodshed, it's crippled the nation all till now, because 2017, recently, the unrest in Aroma, we just read on, is war going on over there, over a shortage of sugar. People getting shot for that. So we have to look at the world on a more bigger scope. The Church of Emperor Haile Selassie is here not to just understand, preach the divinity of Emperor Haile Selassie I, but for it to be done as well. We can't just talk that and say, Jah, and chant this and do that and no, it has to be done at some point in time. We have to look and say to ourselves that, no man, we have to do something about this because people is dying because of this. We can't look at because you're a bubble, because you're a Nyabingi, because you're a 12 tribe, or even to the Christian or to the Muslim brother, or to the pagans. We have to rally together, because at the end of the day, people is dying over what? Over what? And a man that have 2 million bodies on his name in history, or for the atrocities he did in Ethiopia, is living well in Zimbabwe. So, what are we going to really do? And to Prime Minister Holiness, understand, in Jamaica, we have to understand, you have to understand that we need a Rastafarian representative in Parliament and seat, in power, to speak for our behalf. We need that. And we all voting for Abuna, Asento, or Manu Fox. Understand? And even if the man will say, if we on that, you need to put somebody in there that hail the emperor. Because what's going on in Jamaica right now, with the Chinese coming and paying the man them off, understand, for the land. No! The land is given to the people, to the native over there. And we should use the resource like the emperor said we should do. 66, understand? And compete with other nations and become great. Not America, or Russia, or anybody. No, we could prosper off our own needs. And with the, you could say, with the blueprint of Rastafarian people and the church and the Haile Selassie and Rastology, Jamaica could become great. So I'm not trying to hold this up, but people have to understand that what the church is offering is greatness to the people. It's greatness. But we need people to rally under us, because we love justice and we hate aggression. What's going on in Ethiopia right now is wrong. We need more voice. It can't just be only us alone making a Facebook and talking about this. You could do it too. Speak out on this. So it could be global. Like the Abuna said, mass movement. So with that, to everybody there, understand, Happy New Year's and Babylon New Year's again, understand, although it ain't come yet, but happy early New Year's. Long life, health, and strength. And bless the item, His Majesty Rastafari living.
Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God. History is a nation guideline, and therefore we should learn from history so we do not repeat the same mistakes.
True.
Ethiopia is going through a terrible, terrible struggle right now because they did not learn from history. And they don't understand who they are and where they're coming from. And therefore will be able to determine where they're going. And so because they're lost and they're easily manipulated by others, they become victims of their own selves and their own abuse. Imagine protesters are protesting for their human rights in Ethiopia, and the government forces are using live bullets against their own people. So if you shout too loud, you can get a bullet in your head. This is the atrocities that are going on in Ethiopia and are causing the Ethiopian people to suffer. While the government forces, they take everything for themselves and their progenies and give away the Ethiopian people rights to others, to foreign nationals, foreign interests, foreign international companies.
Sure.
Can this continue? Ethiopia government, they must suffer. They must suffer just like all the people must suffer right now. They are going to suffer as well, because every single one of them is going to end up in prison.
Or death.
Life imprisonment or death.
Sure.
But there isn't worse things than that. They should be wiped off the planet. All their children, all everyone, because of the things that they're doing. The betrayal and the treacherous and the treasonous things that they're doing to Ethiopian people. As a government who should be looking out for the interest and the development and the progress of the Ethiopian people. Instead, they're filling their pockets with gold and abuse the human rights of the people in Ethiopia. Mengistu started it. It did not end with him. But once he's dead, it will end right there with him. And therefore, we call for the execution of Mengistu right now. Not even arrest, we want an execution. You understand? Because he is treasonous. He's treacherous. And he has committed treason against his own government and his own people. 2 million Ethiopians killed. And there's not a war. I don't think there are that many Ethiopian people that were killed in 1896 or even in 1935 to 41, and one man alone, one Ethiopian, killed 2 million of his own people. That man should not be sitting in Zimbabwe right now enjoying the benefits of freedom and liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
True.
It is wrong.
Sure.
We call for the arrest of Mengistu at this time. So people who love justice, hate aggression, and all Rasta people, if you love His Majesty and you call His name, and even the Jamaican government, who is benefiting from tourism created by the Rastafarian belief system, who Bob Marley made international, and the Jamaican government has profited from it. The people of Jamaica, the PSOJ, the business owners have profited from Rasta. Do they give anything back to Rasta? No. It's not. It's time now. All that has to change. It's time for Rasta to have political power in Jamaica.
Sure.
For Rasta to have representation
Sure.
in the Parliament of Jamaica. See, Jamaica, Ethiopia, problems, but yet they're linked together in destiny and in history. Because of one man, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, who saved the whole world from the aggression of Nazism through Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini in 1935 to 41 to 45, actually was the end of to the end of the Second World War.
Peace.
So, brethren and sisters, those of you who are intelligent enough to read history, know that history teaches you the way to go. So, do the right thing. Support the mass movement. Call the Church of Haile Selassie I at 638-9013. Go on our website, www.himchurch.org, and our email address is himchurchny@yahoo.com. That, give thanks. Blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings, one God. Greetings in the name of the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I. My name is Brother Ismachi. I'm from the Church of Haile Selassie I in New York, and I would like to say also too that I'm calling on all the loyal followers and all people who love justice and hate aggression, but most of all, this message is to ones and one that already see His Majesty as who He is. And also to all Ethiopians, whether you believe as an Ethiopian, whether you believe His Majesty is God or not, but this, for the sacred, the sacred rights of your history of thousands of years, because it's a man who had a son, that had a son, that had a son, and a woman that had a daughter from thousands of years ago, that y'all could be sitting here today. So for y'all to not call for the arrest of Mengistu, you sell out all your history, which is selfish. It's selfish. You understand? So we, as the Church of Haile Selassie I, is calling on all people who deal with His Majesty and all Ethiopians that love justice and hate aggression, and people in general too, that's searching for an identity. This is our identity, especially as black people. You understand? To defend His Majesty government. And the things that Mengistu did to Ethiopia, we have to realize that those things, according to His Majesty government, like what the man said, is treasonous. You understand? And it's punishable by death, by killing so much people. You understand? So we from the Church of Haile Selassie I is clearly outright declaring that it's either we want Mengistu dead or alive, but not free. Not free.
Sure.
Not free.
Sure. Sure.
And that's straight talk. You know what I mean? We want him dead or alive. That's not no cartoon or no CSI statement. That's real talk. We want him dead or alive. You understand? Because like His Majesty said, it is us today and it will be you tomorrow. And tomorrow is today for Mengistu. So we have to lock him up. And when we lock him up, kill him. Kill him all twice. Kill him, bring him back, and kill him again.
And children too.
You understand? And his children too. But you see, I'm not going to get too aggressive. I keep it humble, because he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. He that exalteth himself shall be abased. So I'm not going to over-exalt it. All I'm saying is support the Church of Haile Selassie I mass movement for liberation and restoration. You understand? And Jamaica need to put the Abuna facts in Parliament. Because in Parliament, in Jamaica, there's people of every religion. And Rastafarianism is one of the biggest religious influential movements in Jamaica. You understand? So if Parliament, if everybody's talking about the rights of people, you understand? 9 times out of 10 is based off of Jesus Christ and Allah and all these other gods that influence them. So who gonna speak on behalf of the Rastaman who say Haile Selassie I is God Almighty? You understand? Who's gonna defend programs, institutions, hospitals, clinics? Who gonna give us grants and understand that in the name of our God we mean it? Those things is real talk. So with that, I pass it on to my brethren and I say blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God, blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I. My name is Brother Ralph. I am a priest in the Church of Haile Selassie I. And you know, we all say that we deal with truths and rights, and a lot of you viewing this video right now have seen, you know, other videos that we've done on the mass movement. So dealing with truths and rights, we understand and know that without sentiment involved in it or emotion, that facts is facts and history is history. And Mengistu cannot escape the fact that history will have him down as the worst criminal ever in history of black on black crime. You understand? Mengistu's actions from 75 ensured that there would never be world peace again until the day that Ethiopia could liberate itself from what he brought there, which is communism, which was colonialism, which was enslavement of his own people under a foreign regime, a Eurocentric foreign regime, which His Majesty Haile Selassie I already said that communism, socialism have no place in Africa at all. You understand? His Majesty understood education was the key for the progress of Ethiopia. This is why he even gave his palace to be the first university in Ethiopia, Haile Selassie I University. Haile Selassie I took Mengistu from nothing and made him somebody, you know, by giving him opportunity to come out of a slave system to become educated and then become part of the military. But we see in history again that the same young people who His Majesty entrusted, because education wasn't the only way to make sure that Ethiopia was modernized and would sustain itself in the 20th and 21st century, His Majesty relied on the young people. But it was Mengistu and his generation that betrayed His Majesty's trust. And from 75, the acquisition of peace on earth is an illusion. Mengistu, as my brethren said, as a one man, killed over 2 million Ethiopians. And from that time, 75, to this time, 2017, there hasn't been any other organization or group except for the Church of Haile Selassie I under the mass movement that even talk about it. You understand? Not the International Court of Justice, not the UN, no international body talk about that. So what can we do about it? As we said before, we have to put the pressure and make them know that Mengistu has to be taken in. He can't live comfortable in Zimbabwe.
Sure.
When you have Ethiopians today who are crying because they have to bury their dead, who have to look for bail to take out their children out of prison. Why? Because they are protesting the atrocities and the horrible lifestyle that they're living in Ethiopia right now under this regime, which is just a regime from a regime that Mengistu started. A chain reaction of destruction in Ethiopia, you know, that Ethiopia has not yet been able to raise its head above, you know. And this is history, facts. So we're not talking about our sentimental feelings towards a thing because we're Rasta and you know, no, we're talking about it as human beings, as part of the human family.
Sure.
You understand? Mengistu's crimes, if it was anyone else, if I was a Jew and I said he was a Nazi, they would have taken him out of Zimbabwe long time to try him.
Sure.
Anyone that they find is a Nazi goes to trial. Even if they're 98 years old, they go to trial for that. For what they did to the Jews during World War II. So what about what Mengistu did to his own people? That's not a crime of humanity. That's a crime of humanity, you know. Not let alone a crime of war, but a crime against humanity. So we gotta look at the whole thing again, you know, and really look at who is putting out that voice, because you see, we got a lot of people who we don't talk about it a lot, but we have to tell the people them again that citizenship to Ethiopia, you can't take it.
Sure.
Because look at the situation in Ethiopia today. You cannot put yourself in that, because then you side yourself with the enemy. You understand? And just like we say, Mengistu is a traitor and a liar and have to get arrested. It's the same for them. If you take the citizenship, if you want to go to Ethiopia for status quo and for limelight, and that can't work where people is suffering today, you know. But you see, we have to open our minds to the reality of what's going on. And again, like I said, we have to look at facts. And the fact is that all of what we talking about, even this mass movement video, everything was organized by a genius.
Sure.
You understand? A genius. You understand? By the name of Abuna Emmanuel Fox. You understand? Who have the vision to understand and know that this is a medium in which we could reach out to people to make them aware, take them out of darkness and bring them into the marvelous light of truth.
Sure.
You understand? Because they play on our ignorance. Anyone who grew up here know the education that they have given us has ill prepared us. His Majesty said so. You understand? So the education that we have been taught, we cannot rely on that to make judgments about what we have to do as a people. You understand? So we have to support the Abuna Emmanuel Fox and his campaign in Jamaica for Rasta representation in Parliament, and him as the first Rastafarian senator.
Sure.
Because again, no sentiments, we're looking at the facts. You understand? History. Look at his track record. He's an organizer, he's a worker, and he's a doer, and he make things happen and accomplish them. You understand? And as much as he's the Abuna Emmanuel Fox, the head of the Church of Haile Selassie, he's still a bingy, and he holds to the roots and culture and the origins of Rasta. The only man alive today who could speak about Rasta then, now, and for the future with a clear mind. So let us not get caught up again with sentimental feelings and emotion. Let us look at the history, let us look at the facts, and let history record I judgment. Support the mass movement, support the Church of Haile Selassie I, support the IEWF, support Abuna Fox for Senator of Jamaica. Emperor Haile Selassie I, live it. Majesty.
Yes, greetings in the name of the true and living God, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Yes, my name is Brother Joseph from the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And what I want to say today is that, first of all, we have to, as Rastafarians, support the mass movement, because looking back at what His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I is to us and means to us, you got to remember that as a Rastafarian, just the name alone, he's the one that gave us an identity. You understand? He's the one that can actually allow us to glow in the light of amongst people. You understand? So you have to support the mass movement, because to support the mass movement is to support right. To support the mass movement is to support truth over lies. You understand? And at this time, I want to call the attention to the government of America as the leader of the free world, and the government of Zimbabwe and even to the government of Ethiopia. What are we going to do about Mengistu and what he has done to Ethiopia and to Ethiopia's people and to Ethiopia's families? Because think about it. It is not my mother or my sister that died during the Red Terror. 2 million Ethiopian people.
Sure.
Let's talk about fairness. How is that right? How is it fair for a man to kill 2 million people and still be alive, sitting well, drinking cocktails or whatever he's doing? It's not right.
Sure.
Now to the government of Zimbabwe. So you're telling me, is that what you support? You support a man that is killing 2 million people. That's okay? So I call to your heart, call to your feelings, because at the end of the day, moving into the 2018, the scripture says we have to amend our ways and amend our doings, meaning we have to change how we think, which will allow us to change how we act. So we now have to really look into 2018 as where we are coming from, where we are now, where we are going as a people. You understand? And again, I call to the government of the world. Look at Mengistu. It's not fair for a man of that nature, of that stature, to kill 2 million people and still be alive, sitting well. Even if he has to be alive, he should be in jail. It is not right. Now bringing it to the government of Jamaica. It is not right that we have so many Rastafarian people in Jamaica and then we do not have a representation. You understand? How does that look as a government?
Sure.
You understand? We do not have any political right, we have political aspirations for ourselves. You understand? Are you denying us that fact? Are you denying us that right? If not, you need to put the Abuna Emmanuel Fox in office.
Sure.
Because like you heard from everybody else, look at his track record. History is a nation's guideline and a nation's destiny. You understand? His Majesty said that. If we look at the Abuna Emmanuel Fox, he's the only man that is right for the job. And as the brethren said, let's take away all sentiments and all feelings from it. The scripture said, bring forth your evidence. We have evidence. The Abuna has evidence. Like the man said, he's an organizer. He's a leader. So, the Rastafarian people, you need to speak up as well. You understand? Because if you don't speak up, there will be no change. There will be no action. So it's also on the item as well in Jamaica. You understand? Because we know so that Jamaica and Ethiopia are like blood brothers. You understand? His Majesty said that. You understand? And again, His Majesty is the true and living God of Ethiopia. So if we know He's the true and living God, His Majesty is a king and an emperor. So how come there's no king and an emperor in Ethiopia today? It's not right. You understand? So going into 2018, we have to look at it again. You understand? Look at certain things and look at certain facts and bring it within ourselves and say, is it right? Mengistu needs to be jailed. And that's not sentiment.
Sure.
That's not me being a sentimental character. That's history. That's been proven. You understand? So with that, blessed be Jah, Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings in the name of the Lord, King and Savior, Yahweh, Elohim, Sabbath, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Yes, my name is Brother Jason Wells, Brother Mariah, speaking to you from the Church of Emperor Selassie I in North America, New York City, Brooklyn. And we use Greetings Facebook, we're using this Facebook to plead our cause, that as we have been fighting for years, the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I and the IWF, for justice, to His Majesty Emperor Selassie I's legacy and teachings and throne and utterance, that we have to give, the world have to give us the justice that's due unto us, His Majesty and His people, the people in Ethiopia, the people in Trinidad, Jamaica, Guyana, Haiti, Barbados, all the nations, Grenada, America, Because there are Ethiopians all over the world, you know, all over the world, spread out. And our cause that we're pleading is that liberation of Ethiopian people, home and abroad, and the restoration of His Imperial Majesty government back in Ethiopia, constitutional monarchy, you know, and it is the church here in Jamaica, right here in North America, England and Barbados, and also there's a church even coming up in Trinidad and Tobago, that we, with no hang-ups, no sentiment, we are the voice, you know, of the human race, the voice of justice, who people who love justice and hate aggression, who love truth. And we are calling unto all Rastafarians, home and abroad, people who love justice and hate aggression, to come support the Church of Emperor Selassie I. No matter what religion you might profess, you know, because His Majesty said that no matter what religion a man profess, you can't judge his ways, you know. You can't judge him. We can't judge the ways of God, you know. We must live equally and be tolerant of people of other faith, you know. And we are Ethiopians, you know. And we are Trinidad and Tobago nationals, Haiti, Jamaica, and we want our rights as human beings. We want our rights as moral citizens, moral people. You know, we want to be given the same opportunity as any other race of people, any other religion of people. You know, and we have been fighting for these causes for years, you know. Well, I wouldn't say a youth. I'm a youth in the sense of I'm young, you know. But as a man still, I'm 33 years old. And as a youth, I see His Majesty, and I heard about His Majesty being God, you know, and Christ. It clicked something in my head, and I'm glad that it stayed with me, you know. That today I can call myself a Haile Selassie, a Rastafarian, a son, a child, a servant, a friend of His Emperor Selassie I. You know, that today, that the world can see me, you know, and not to put me on no broadcast, but the church is what gave me my identity, and my God, Emperor Selassie I, His teaching, His utterance, you know, my identity as an Ethiopian sovereign and Trinidad and Tobago national born. Yes, you know, and I must say that Mengistu, for the atrocity that he did to our motherland, our fatherland, Ethiopia, is the wickedest man in history. You understand? And he must bring to justice. He must be put to justice. You understand? Yes, he must be put to justice. Ethiopian government, President of United States, the UN, bring Mengistu to justice. And anybody who ally with him, all of them, bring him to justice. Whatever you want to do with him, you know what I mean? Bring him to justice. You know, we are pleading our cause that the restoration and the liberation of Ethiopia is equally to the rights of the people in the West Indies, in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Haiti. You know, because grassroots people don't have a voice in Parliament. All the other minorities or high class people have a voice, that their people is getting their rights and whatever they ask for, and not to say We're not begging about, no. We want our rights.
True.
Jamaica Parliament, Jamaica government, Andrew Hollis, answer the Abona Emmanuel Fox call for an interview, not a sit down. We call it a sit down. Listen to him very carefully and know that he's not talking as a man who just want power. No, he don't want no power. He want the rights of his people and his God that deserve us, that we deserve.
True.
Look at the works he's done for the country of Jamaica. And it's branching off even in other Caribbean islands.
True.
You understand? Because a brother who worked with him named Abbot Shubael, brother Raymond Tinia, in Trinidad building a church right now. Brother Chris is in Barbados, establish a church. Two churches. The Abona commissioned these men to the commission of His Majesty and King Haile Selassie. So we have a track record. We are just saying that we are human beings and we have rights. Give us our rights. Give us our rights. And the youths who say His Majesty is God, who hail His Majesty as Rastafarians. I was young like you too. And I just used to say His Majesty, and burn spliff and do all kind of thing. But not in accordance with His Majesty works that He set out for us in Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. But the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I could put you on that path where you need to go on to establish yourself and be a moral citizen. You understand? And Trinidad and Tobagonians, yes, everything nice and airy because it's nice time, carnival, Christmas, yeah. But we are Ethiopians, remember that. And those things is not really our culture. You understand? But we have to say that real Jamaican Trinidadian people is serious people. And we take things serious. Enjoy life, yes, life is good. You know, give thanks for life. But life is serious. We need human rights. We need schools for our youths. We need hospitals for the sick. We need homes to shelter the homeless and the elders. We need these things. We need farmland to feed our people. Low-cost housing, all of that. And this is the agitation for the Church of Emperor Selassie I. What we want, what we need. You know? We want to be a part of the development of the Caribbean, all islands. We are a part of it already. So just work with us. You understand? His Majesty, Rastafari, Emperor Selassie I, a living God, blessed Majesty.
Rastafari, Emperor Selassie I.
Greeting in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God. My name is Pediel, and I'm here as part of the Church of Haile Selassie I and the mass movement. And there's a lot of things that go through my mind when I do this recording on Facebook. But here what? First thing and foremost in this presentation, we want the arrest of Mengistu and to go to trial. I know he's been found guilty. I'm supposed to get chopped up too. I'm supposed to get chopped up because 2 million people.
Red terror.
Yeah, because treason in act is the punishment for treason in the act is death. By execution. But to
make an example of his atrocity that he has done through a colonial power. Chop him up. That the next man would even think about that, and know the punishment it would be. You understand? No, when we say you're Ethiopians, I don't want the black man believe that it's because that like a country in Africa is Ethiopia. No, all black people is Ethiopian because the word Ethiopia means burn skin. It's a Greek word meaning burn skin people. That means every single black man and woman is an Ethiopian. If you know it or not, I'm telling you, if you know it or not, every black persons is an Ethiopian. If you want to accept it or not, you're an Ethiopian. Don't make the colonial powers that give you like a, what the scripture called, peas and rice. Because that's what they have now. And they think they're successful because they hold these high position, prime minister and this. And yes, they oppress your own people.
Sure.
Because listen, I want to talk about Jamaica a little bit, you know, because that's where I was born as an Ethiopian. You understand? When I see the oppressing the oppressed, it's one of the wickedest things. What I mean by that, when I see a police officer shoot down a youth, I don't know if he has a gun or not, but they want to identify a gun. All right, but if it's a gun, if you take it from him, don't shoot him. Because usually those youths are fatherless and motherless, no kind of institution to guide them into the right direction.
True.
These youths need to be reprogrammed. They were programmed to do criminal work. They need to be reprogrammed. And that's why you need the Abuna Fox in the parliament. That these things stop.
True.
We can't killing our own. The oppressing the oppressed. That's what it is. A black police officer killing a black youth. It must come back, but it's a curse. It is a curse, people. It's a curse. You understand? You can't kill a youth and make him look like worse than a dog. No. These things have to stop. It's been going on for years. Years, on top of years. That's why we need the Abuna in the Senate. These things have to stop. So, you know, again, I can talk about a lot of things, you know, but I don't want to stress the people. But again, we need to arrest Mengistu and bring him to justice.
True.
You understand? And we need peace. We need peace and harmony in the world. And all that will happen. Restore the monarchy institution of Emperor Haile Selassie I to power in Ethiopia.
True.
We can't use communism. You know what communism? Communism caused Mengistu to do what I'm doing now. Because when communism come into power, you know, they massacre all their enemies, you know.
True.
That's one of the criteria.
Potential.
Like Russia, yes.
Look at Russia.
You know, so we can't say we're going to go to communism. No, we're not going to continue massacre in our own people. No. We're going to have a pest strike around through Africa.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So, you know, so with that, I don't want to, you know, stress the island, but with that, Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I, bless me and keep you safe. You understand, for this new year, this new Babylon year. Because our Babylon year start 9/11.
Our Ethiopia.
Our Ethiopia New Year is 9/11. September 11. But because we are in Babylon, we
honor the law.
honor the law. That's what my brother said. We have to honor the law. And that's what it is. We have to honor the law. The law is important. You understand? And that we have to tell the youth that the law is important. It can't be abandoned. It can't be a rebel all the time of your life. No. You need safety, government, proper government, because the king or the Christ is government. It's government to get freedom, liberty, justice. It's government, proper government. And when you're corrupt government, this is what we have. This is what we have. And we have been at World War III because we don't have proper government in power. You have government who oppress the people. You understand? So with that, again, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I liveth, His Majesty.
Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I liveth.
Majesty.